Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. My name is Melissa Joyce and we are going to be reviewing a product from my May BoxyCharm subscription, and this is the last one. I've reviewed all the other products. This is the Temptu Glow. Now if you're interested in any of my other reviews, you can find them on my channel, or I will link them down below so you can find the other May BoxyCharm reviews. Let's talk a little bit about this product, and as I do in all my videos, I'm going to talk about the company, I'm going to talk about the product, and then I'm going to give you my review because I've been using this for a while now. If you would like to skip ahead to just the review part, I'll put timestamps down below in the description so that you can do that. And let us talk about Temptu. This is not my first time doing a review of Temptu. This is actually my third. I did a review of their shimmer bronzer, which I quite enjoyed, much more than I expected to. I also did a review of their primer, which was not so special for me, and I don't find I'm really reaching for it. But you can watch those reviews, again, linked in the description box down below. So I thought there wouldn't be that much to talk about with Temptu this time, but I did discover something that I didn't notice before. So before I get into that, Temptu, if you have not heard of it, is a company that is pretty much known for its airbrushed makeup. So you can buy a home airbrushing machine and you can buy products from Temptu so that with your airbrush machine you can do your foundation, your blush, your bronzer, your contour, your highlight. You can also touch up your roots with it, and they also have sort of stencils to do eyebrows with. So all kinds of stuff that you can do with their little airbrush machine and what they call their AirPods. They also have a number of different kinds of makeup that are not related to their airbrushing system, although not a lot. They have some lipsticks, some lip glosses. There is the primer that I mentioned and the shimmer bronzer, neither of which did you need to use the airbrush machine for. They also have some glitters, some finishing powders, and some concealers and color correctors as well. But generally, they are very well known for having the airbrush system. So when I was looking for information about this product, I somehow made my way to another part of the website for Temptu, which I had never noticed before, and that is their Temptu Pro section. And this gave me a lot of information about the company and opened up a whole new area of it that I didn't realize that they had before. So Temptu actually started as a small family-owned business, and I couldn't find the exact date that they started, but they became more well-known after their work in a cult movie classic I'd never heard of before called Tattoo. Basically for that movie, they did a lot of the movie special effects temporary tattoos for that movie, and then they became well known in the industry. So if you go to the pro part of their page, you are going to find airbrushing and systems and makeup and still temporary tattoos that are there that are used in the film industry, that are used, I think they said, in sort of photo shoots and runways, but it's very different than the Temptu sort of home products. So if you're there and you're looking at the airbrush machines for pros, you're going to be looking at like air compressors that are like $200 to $350. You're going to be finding the airbrush pens that are like $200 that you need the $300 compressor to go with. And the airbrush systems look very different because they are professional. Now, I found the most interesting part of all of this to be the different kinds of foundations that they had in their pro line. So they have three kinds of foundations, one that is supposed to be semi-matte and long wearing, one that is water-based, and one that is silicone-based. But they have not only a huge variety of shades, like probably some of the lightest to deepest shades that I've ever seen in a foundation line, but they also have a huge range of different color correctors, and not color correctors, that's not right, shade adjusters. So if you're a person who watches YouTube, you may see people trying out sort of like white shade adjusters or darker shade adjusters, and there's sort of those on the market, but Temptu has like purples and reds and greens. So between the number of different foundation shades that they had in these shade adjusters, if you're a professional doing makeup, you could fit any skin tone with what they have here, and I just found it fascinating. And it also makes me wonder, because it's not a huge amount, I mean, to get a little 0.25 fluid ounce, so about a quarter of the amount that you would usually get in a bottle of foundation of shade adjuster, it's about 10 bucks. So if you have a hard time matching your foundation, I don't know how well these would do just mixing into regular foundation, but it'd be an interesting thing to try because there's just so much variety of it. And as I mentioned in the pro section, they still have a whole area of tattoos, temporary tattoos that last like 2 to 5 days for the film industry, as well as all kinds of accessories to like color those tattoos, go over them, use makeup on top of prosthetics. It's just basically this whole world of Temptu that I didn't know because I'd only really ever seen people trying out the home airbrushing machine. To talk about this product, this is a BoxyCharm, not exclusive because you can buy this on their Temptu site, but it is in collaboration with BoxyCharm, and it is their liquid glow, and you get quite a lot of it here. You get 1 fluid ounce. So if you're going to go buy this off their website, it's going to set you back $24. And unlike a lot of BoxyCharm items where it almost seems like the BoxyCharm item is at a higher price point than other things on their website, this actually seems to be at a lower price point. So if you were going to buy some of their other liquid glows, you'd be paying like $15 for half an ounce, which would add up to about $30 for a full ounce. Or there are some full ounce products that go for $29.50. So this is actually a slightly lower price point than some of their other liquid glow products. Now, they do talk about this being a rose gold color, and it is. They talk about how you can use this, blend it onto the high points of your face like a regular highlighter, or that you can mix it into foundation for a more luminous glow, or mix into moisturizer for a body glow. And because there is so much of it here, you know, you could put this on your shoulders, on your collarbones to get a bit of glow on your body. Let's get into my thoughts on this because I have been using this for a while and I do have some thoughts. I really want it to like this, and in some ways I do, but not as much as I wish that I had. So I do find this to be a beautiful color. Like when it first comes out and you see the color of it, you think like, that is glorious. That is so beautiful, that color. And I do find that you can mix this into foundation. So a pro of it is I have found that I can mix this into a foundation, put it all over my face. I've done it today, but it's a little hard to see under these lights that I have a little bit more all over glow than I usually would. And it's nice for the summer that you mix a bit of this into a foundation that may be a little bit more on the matte side and you get more of an all over glow. And for me, I find that if I want a very natural look, I can do this all over, not necessarily even set it. It might get a little oily after a while, but do a sort of luminous concealer under the eyes, set that a little bit, and then do some cream blush, use the shimmer bronzer, and then also apply this with a sponge to the high points of my face, and I like the way it looks. But there are a number of cons that make me wish I didn't have to work so hard to get this to work for me. The first drawback that I find for this is I find it feels a little bit heavy on the skin, and I haven't quite nailed down what the texture feels for me yet, but it's almost like it just continues to feel tacky and a little bit heavy through the day. So on the days where I've used this just mixed into my foundation, it does continue to feel like it never really dries down. And I did try using this on my chest and on my shoulders, and it just continues to feel it during the day. Like there's some tackiness and stick there that I don't normally feel when I just use my moisturizer. And considering, for me at least, this is the kind of product I might like to use a bit more in the summer, you don't really want that sort of heavier, sticky feeling on your skin after using it. I also find there is something about the texture of this that you can never really get that super bright highlight. So when you first put it on, like you put a drop of it on, it's very bright, and then you feel you need to blend it in because it never really feels like it sinks into the skin, and it's quite watery. But then once you start to blend, it feels like you just have to keep blending and then the product is gone. So it's almost like it's too wet and it doesn't sink in, so you try to blend it a little bit and then it's gone. And I especially found this on the body. I mean, I put some of it on today and like I just don't even notice it's there anymore other than that slightly sticky texture that it leaves. I was able today to dot a little bit of this onto my cheekbones and use a sponge to sort of put it in, like bounce it in a little bit. And again, I sort of had to leave it when it was still a little bit wetter than I would like, because if I blended it anymore, it would just be gone. And while it does have a beautiful rose gold sheen to it, what you're actually going to get on your skin is a very wet looking highlight. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you don't really notice the tone of it when it's on your skin. So I was able to work it onto the high points of my cheeks to give myself a little bit of that wetness look. But when I went to do the same with a sponge on my nose, it just moved around a lot. You have to work really hard with it to get it to work or to show up at all. So for me, I would say this is not the liquid highlight I'm going to reach for. I'd rather use something that's a little bit more of a creamy texture where it feels like it stays a little bit where it is and maybe melts into your skin a little bit more, because this always feels like it wants to move around on top of it. I'm going to continue using this on sort of no makeup days when I want to mix it in with my foundation to give myself a nice luminous glow. I'm gonna do that on days when I want my foundation to look good for a couple of hours, because if you set it with powder, then that look goes away. So for me, I would have to do that and then look sort of luminous for a couple of hours before it just started to feel a little too greasy and heavy on me, but I do like it for that. As far as a cheekbone highlight, I'm going to stick with some of my other ones that I have, like the Ofra one that came in a previous BoxyCharm subscription, or even my Physicians Formula Shimmer Brick. I mean, that just gives me a much brighter highlight that seems like it stands out a little bit more for what I want it. And this doesn't work on my nose for me, it just moves around too much. It doesn't work on my Cupid's bow, so I'm not going to reach for it for that, unfortunately. So in conclusion, I think this is actually a really good price for the amount of this that you get. I think it is a beautiful color. I just think there is something about the texture of it that just doesn't work for me. I would love to hear about your experiences with this. Did you get this in your BoxyCharm subscription? Have you tried it? How did you make it work for you? Does it work mixed into foundation? Does it work mixed into your moisturizer on your body? Have you been able to highlight with it? All of that I would love to hear, because I really want to like this product more than I do. I want it to work better for me than it does. So if you liked this and you feel like giving me a thumbs up, there's probably a little thumbs up button down there that you can do that. I hope you join me for more of my reviews. A face is probably popping up right about here that you can click on to subscribe to my channel. And I will also put one of my other reviews up here that you can watch as well. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Bye.